Can't number these podcast episodes, so we're just going to jump right in. Today, I'm going to be telling a story about one of my favorite coaching tools, Martha Beck's Ideal Day. This is one I learned in my very first coach training, and it definitely relates to our topic of the day. And I'm going to bring in Kate. Topic today, what gets in the way of getting to your own next level? What gets in the way? Here comes Kate. Hello.
Hi there. How are
Hi.
you?
So good, except
Good.
still recovering from my lipstick mistake, which I can immediately see.
Mhm.
Of course.
Oh, you're fine.
Mm,
Happens to the
it-
best of us.
yes, it does. Okay, I got to turn this volume down to just a teensy. Okay, so today's topic is really a beautiful one, as we were saying in rehearsal,
Mm.
because it addresses um, something that's important, as you were saying, that needs to be talked about early in your business development, right? That you recommend. Hi, Jamie.
Yeah.
Needs to be addressed early in your business development.
Yes.
Hmm.
Well, it can be addressed honestly at any time. Um, Ideally it's early, but we
But
are
why? But why? Because you said why you think it makes sense to address it early.
because it's easier if
Yeah,
you address it
yeah.
early. So
Okay.
what we're talking about is this concept, like getting to your own next level and the idea of 10x versus 2x.
Hmm.
So I think backing it up a bit and just talking about what that even is. And it is started from a book. I believe his name is Dan Sullivan.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's where this concept came from, just to give credit where credit's due. But it's this idea of when you're looking at, I guess it can apply to any part of your life, but when you're specifically looking at your business, when you're when you look at changes that like 2x your business, those are just tweaks that you're making to what you're currently doing. Versus when you're looking to 10x your business, you're doing things that are completely different than what you're currently doing. You're looking at it differently. You're setting up systems differently. You're coaching differently. You're just, that is such a big difference. And the plan that you have now to handle your current influx and your 2x is wildly different than at 10x. So, getting to your own next level, how do you come at it from a 10x perspective?
Yeah, yeah. And what's really cool about this, I think anyone who's read that book knows that it kind of breaks your brain, right?
Mhm.
It just breaks your brain. You're just like, I would never have thought about it in that way. Because most of the women that we support, maybe 99% of them are called into their businesses basically, almost spiritually. It's like a deep yearning inside. This is the thing I need to do. This is the thing I'm meant to do. And those invitations they're so deeply threaded into who we are. They don't come with these incredible, frequency expansions and vibration upgrades. That's the shiz that you have to work on yourself. And so, in order to really connect with your higher self and be guided in your business by your higher self, you you've got to connect with it. Actually, you've got to kind of sit with it and be like, okay, the vision that I have for this 5 years from now? So my approach to this, as I mentioned in the opening, comes from training with Martha Beck, and she's done this exercise with thousands and thousands of people that's called Ideal Day. And what she has you do is write down what your ideal day looks like, starting like 5 years out. I think is how she had us do it. And the way that we did it in pairs. I recommend doing this with another person if you can. is you're bringing the person into kind of a calm state, you know, or you could do this with a group, actually, at like a book club or something. And you have everyone consider, you know, when they are, what it's like for them in the day, in their ideal day. Where are they waking up? You know, what
Mhm.
does the room look like? What kind of clothes are in their closet? You know, what are their early morning experiences? And when you do that, what you start to see is what your soul or your higher self is offering to you, as a future path that can provide some magnetism and strengthening to you when you're in the day to day experiencing overwhelm.
Right, right. Oh, that's such a beautiful exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And it is one that I've done recently, and that's you bring a different perspective than how I looked at it, which makes sense because our brains operate a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really beautiful to just think about the experience side of it, the experience side of your day, what it feels like, um, what it looks like. It's not just like the to-do list of your day.
Oh, no, it's not. And most of us women, again, majority of the population that we support, they are devotional. They are dutiful. These are actually positive qualities, in my opinion. Like, there's nothing amiss with that. In fact, my entire business is built on this concept of the importance of practice. And practice responds to devotion. Okay. Practice wants you to pay attention to it. And so, if you're paying attention to your business and you're practicing with devotion in your business, then it's rewarding. You know, there's a beautiful thing that comes into our bodies and into our minds, around the energy of service. Like, I'm doing the right thing. This feels good, you know, and that results in abundance or results in me helping somebody. So, what can happen though is that, you know, as with any energy, if there's too much of that, then we are actually missing the opportunity for expanding into, say, more joy, more of a sense of freedom, more of a sense of peace. We can't see how what got us here, you know, running a business that has some clients where we have some services, is going to get us there, which is still doing that, but actually having a deeper sense of freedom, a deeper sense of joy. I was writing for our newsletter yesterday, and one of the things that I captured, that is, this is kind of an interesting reveal for you guys, is when I deepen my work, I got to tell you guys, it's crazy. If I lean in harder on doing work, let's say it's meditation, because it has been meditation for me for about the past 6 months. The more, when I lean in, it immediately shows up in my clients. Like, I lean in, and my clients come to me, and the next day or a couple days later, and like, they are on their toes with that shiz. And it's because
Right.
I chose to lean in. Like, the more you devote yourself to what your life, you know, your practice could do for you, the more it gives back to you. And so, if you're devoted to, I'm going to get more hard work out of this, then that's what you're going to get back. But if you bring in your higher self experience, like that ideal day energy, then, or the, you know, 10x over 2x, like, okay, well, what could this be? You know, if, say, we have Jamie Sherman on here today, like, if it was 3 different locations of Echo Natural Beauty, or 5 different locations, like, what would that look like? How could that guide me today?
So I'm going to ask the question that Jamie asked in the chat. What
Yeah.
if that feels stressful thinking about it from thinking about it that big, thinking about
Mm.
it at the 10x point? Do
Mm.
you decrease it to 5x or do you lean into why that's stressful?
I think it's actually, sort of in the middle, you know. So if 10x feels stressful, then, what's really important, you know, for you, Jamie, or, you know, for anyone, is you get to right size your vision. I think that there's, okay, so let's really go kind of geeky deep on this for a minute, because I was talking to somebody the other day about scaling, and I explained the concept of scaling as was taught to me by, Lacey Seitz, who's a master coach. And she said scaling is really just when your revenues exceed your outputs. And there has been this view in personal development, and I would say maybe even in your industry too, Jamie and Spas, of, I have to, make it huge. I have to make it this gigantic thing. And you don't. You get to make it what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And there are classical definitions in, the world of this is what it looks like when you grow your business. And it's personal, so 10x for you might not be what the masculine frame of business might sketch it out to be. So that's one thing to play with, is like, what are you making 10x, because maybe 10x is a little bit different. Maybe for you, Jamie, for example, it's 2 more retreats a year, right? It's less time in the studio. I'm just playing with it, but I know you love to travel, and maybe it's more product subscriptions or more product demos. So that's like one side of the equation. But there's another part of this. Shoot, it just went out of my brain. Darn it. Why don't you talk for a second? Because I want to try to find this back because it was important. It was important.
Yeah. So I look at it from the operations kind of perspective of it. And
Mm-hmm.
in my world, that means how do I design, whether you're starting out, the foundations, or how do I build in these systems that support my 10x goals? Um, Rather than how do I just like make these upgrades or these small tweaks that support my 2x goals? Because you'll just be constantly making those upgrades and tweaks forever until
Yes.
you reach 10x. Whereas if you just spent a day, you know, I envision it being like this really relaxed, like in your, like the space that feels the most home to you, and just sat with it and was like, okay, what are my clients experiencing at 10x? What is that client journey? What does it feel like to me? What are the, how do I want like my systems and my automations and my business to feel to me that and bring that to life? um,
Mm-hmm.
and work on the back end of your business to support that vision, not just the
Yeah.
10x or not just the 2x vision.
Yes. So what you're saying, I think, is a really important thing to give ourselves permission to do. And I do remember what the other point was. So you're saying give yourself permission to see that business bigger,
Hmm.
right? It's like there's a kernel when you start it. And in your case, you started it while you're working full time. So it's a side
Yes.
hustle.
Yeah, so I
And
can
so,
share that.
yeah, yeah,
Then you kind of alluded to this. So
yeah,
remember your thought.
I did. I
Um,
did. Go ahead.
like the reason that we say we started this by like saying kind of to start at the beginning is, I mean, that's the dream. That would be amazing if like I knew about this 10x, 2x concept when I was working my full-time job and also doing this on the side. I loved it. I didn't really like, I just kind of started it and was like, okay, we'll see where it goes, rather than sitting in it and really visioning where it was going to go. And fast forward 5 years, and I have no regrets at all, but I wish I had set things up differently. I wish I
Mhm.
had, thought about that 10x vision a little bit more, because I wouldn't have like a full client list and also be setting up, systems that support those 10x dreams that I have
Yeah.
now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going.
no, and that's just what we mean. Like it is you just the encouragement of starting this as soon as you can in your business journey, wherever that is, whether you're starting your business today or you're 10 years in, like start it, start visioning
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I could tie what you just said to the other point that I was going to make. I do believe, as somebody who's been coaching now, for 10 years, that, and it's almost going to make me cry, which is an intuitive sign. It's like the importance of dreams cannot be overlooked, you guys. I cannot stress this enough. Like, I am a business coach. Kate is an operations manager. And yet we really understand that we help people build out their dreams, and dreams
Mhm.
are how the world gets built and expanded. And so having dreams it's just super, super, super important. I had a client recently who was very reluctant, very skeptical. I convinced her to do a Pinterest board, a digital Pinterest board. She's an artist, and she didn't want to do it. She was like, "Yeah, it's stupid. Pinterest is stupid." And she ended up doing it, and she landed the love of her life, and her business completely took off because she did it. So we get to give ourselves permission to have dreams, and as
Yeah.
women, it's just vital. It's just vital. Um, but back to the building it out properly thing, what you're talking about. So that brings me back to what Jamie was asking about,
Mhm.
is another piece of this when you're thinking 10x over 2x is what's called right person, right seat. And so I'm going to explain that concept to you guys a little bit because it's one I learned from Gino Wickman, who wrote a book called Traction. And Traction is a very smart business book about a combination that you want to have in a business called the Visionary Integrator. And a quick example of that would be Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, or Bill Gates and Paul Allen. Like you want to have somebody who's just got the big dreams and somebody else who has the organizational skills.
Mhm.
But the other thing that's really interesting about that is that you can build your own business out, you guys, and you could be in the wrong seat in your own
Mhm.
business. Okay. So I'm not saying this is true of you, Jamie, but it is something to play with because if you're thinking about your business at a 10x level, I love what you wrote, right? 10x and loving my life. Like you might be thinking, oh my gosh, 10x of what I'm doing right now, like no effing way. That is not what I want to do. And so in that case, when you're finding that experience stressful, I would say the recommendation is to talk to your business, like to dialogue with your business, do automatic writing, meditate, sit down, ask your business what it wants, and feel into what you want in that
Yeah.
business. Because you might want to be in that business, but in a totally different job in your
Right.
own business, you know?
And the beauty of it being your own business is you can make that change.
That's right.
You get to do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
You get to move your seat around and bring in other seats and have your business support you and have it feel good to you.
Yeah, but back to this like dutiful energy. Oh, good, that landed with Jamie. So back to this kind of dutiful energy that a lot of us have. I think there's we want to kind of draw a line between devotion and dutiful. Devotion's great. Dutiful is okay, but you do want to recognize that that is not 10x energy. And so if you
Mhm.
are feeling this like performative energy toward your business, which frankly, most of us feel in the beginning cycles of our business because the business demands everything of us, right? It's like a baby. You're pouring into the business. And what you want to do as you mature is train the business to take care of you. You're training that business to
Yes.
support your best energy. And it takes thinking, it takes design. Like this is, and it's honestly, I think this is why I have a job. It's difficult to do by yourself because you can't spot your own blind spots. You
Mhm.
can't see where you could be better supported. Like we do need to allow ourselves to play with what the business is and let it be a creative project that gets the support not just from us but from resources around us and the universe.
Yes, I could not agree more. It's a really fun exercise. You get to be the vision for your business. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head. You also need someone to be on that journey with you that sees what you might not be able to see.
Well,
And
I'm going to go harder on that. That sees what you can't see, because it's
yes,
not might.
yes,
I mean,
that's
I,
fair.
I have, I'm sorry, I've yet to have a client that's like, oh my God, I only needed you to say, yeah, you're right about everything. I mean, that is not how people
Mhm.
work with me. They are not coming in going, you know what, I have it all figured out. I just wanted you to approve it. No, they come in. That's not how it works. They come in and they're like, I have this amazing idea, or I'm really trying to make this work over here. This revenue
You just
pipeline feels
watch
like,
the like light bulb go off.
yeah,
You're
it's
like,
not
oh
like that.
yeah, I missed that.
Totally. It is a process,
Hmm.
it is a creative process, and it is Joseph Campbell's hero's journey too, which means that along the path, like, you need to pick up tools. You're going to have trials, and your interest is in recognizing that you get to come to, nirvana at various points in the cycle as
Hmm.
it grows. So, so again, just like bringing back home, landing the plane here
Yeah.
for you guys today in terms of 10x over 2x. Like, we understand, because we work directly with women every single day who are highly empathic, highly intelligent, very service oriented. Like, we get it that you feel both creatively inspired and protective of your vision, and
Of
also, like,
course.
you don't quite know where it's going to go or how to get it there. And what we're challenging you to do is to take a little time to design out where it could be for you 5 years from now. Let's start with two, like 2, 5, 10 years from now, and look at where it's crunchy, as our guest live on the IG is saying today. Like, look at where it's like, ugh, like my body doesn't want that. Or look at where it feels really good. And then, have that as a talisman to guide you forward, because it will pull you forward. And on Kate's side, what she's sharing is, get those systems built out for as big a vision as your beautiful brain can hold,
Hmm.
so that you are set up to grow.
Yeah, exactly. You said it great.
Hmm. These are fun. Yeah.
This was fun. This was a great topic.
Good. Anything else you want to cover?
No, I think that was it. We can keep this one. I mean, it's not short and sweet, but as short and sweet as it is.
Well, I feel like I always, get kind of speedy talking and get into it, but
No, this was a
we
good
are
one.
trying to be more succinct. So hopefully this is helpful to you guys, and we so appreciate you supporting us. We post these on YouTube, and we have we're going viral over there. I think we have 8 followers. So if you want
Yay!
to join the magic, yeah, we would love to have you join us on our YouTube channel. We're honored to have you live, but we know most people can't carve out the time, especially on IG. So thanks for being here, and we
Thank
will
you.
see you next week. Thank you. Okay,
Bye.
bye bye.